Hi, I'm Laura, and I'll be sharing the lesson Pondering Pandas. In this fun role-playing lesson, students will pretend to be pandas trying to find enough to eat, as other students, playing farmers, convert bamboo forests into farms. Pondering Pandas can work well for both lower or upper elementary and has strong connections to science and social studies content. By the end of the lesson, students will be able to define habitat fragmentation in their own words, explain why habitat fragmentation is harmful to the giant panda, and discuss ways to protect wildlife habitats from fragmentation. To facilitate this activity, you'll need a world map or a globe and small objects to represent bamboo. These can be a bamboo craft that students have made, pieces of green paper, or other small objects. Before class, put your students' desks into a grid pattern. If you don't have desks in your classroom, you can use pieces of paper to create a grid on the floor. You should be sure that you have at least one object representing bamboo for each student. To start, show your students a picture of a giant panda. On the map or globe, help students locate China, where the giant pandas live. As a class, take your students on an imaginary trip to see the giant pandas. There are a couple paragraphs in the lesson plan with information about pandas that you can read out loud to set the scene. Now, craft bamboo with your students or introduce the objects that will be representing bamboo. Spread the bamboo on desks at random. Some desks will have several pieces of bamboo, some will have one, and some will have none. The desks represent plots of land, some of which is now covered in bamboo forests. Your student pandas will be roaming from one bamboo patch to another to find food. Pandas eat a lot of bamboo and will need to move around a lot in order to find enough food. Pandas can roam in any direction. They can go forwards, backwards, sideways, and diagonal, but there's a catch. Pandas can only move to a desk that has bamboo. Pandas won't survive the journey across open land if there's no bamboo to eat. Now, it's time to select a few students to be pandas, and lucky for us, I have some friends today to help me demonstrate. Let the pandas roam among the desks, practicing moving from one desk with bamboo to an adjacent desk with bamboo. They cannot cross an empty desk. After a bit of time, tell them to pick one desk and stay there. This will be where the panda will be grazing. Ask for observations about how the pandas moved. Was every panda able to get the bamboo it needed? But the pandas aren't the only things in the habitat. There are farmers too. Ask a couple of students to play the role of a farmer. Each farmer should go to a desk where a panda is not and claim that desk as their own. This plot of land is now a farm. If there's bamboo on their desk, the farmers should remove it. Now our pandas are getting hungry. They need to move to a new patch of bamboo to find more food. Ask the pandas to move to an adjacent desk. Remember, they can move in any direction, but they can only move to a desk that has bamboo. Check in with your pandas to see how they're doing. Were all the pandas able to find new bamboo to eat? And then we'll do it again. Pick a new round of farmers to select farmland and remove the bamboo. Then ask the pandas to move again. Add more farmers. Ask the pandas to move. As more and more farmers enter the simulation, it becomes more and more difficult for pandas to move to new patches of bamboo. Continue adding farmers and asking pandas to move until there are no more students to join the role play, or until the pandas can't move anymore. When the simulation is finished, introduce your students to the term habitat fragmentation. Habitat fragmentation is when parts of a habitat are destroyed and the parts that remain are no longer connected to each other. The pandas in our simulation had their habitat fragmented by farmers. When the farm stood between the pandas' food sources, some of our pandas weren't able to find the bamboo that they needed. We provide a variety of discussion questions to help students reflect on the simulation. These include, what was the impact of people on the giant pandas' habitat? What did this do to the pandas' ability to find food? Why were farmers cutting down bamboo forests? What are some other reasons that people might clear wildlife habitats? And if you were a panda, how did it feel during the simulation? If you were a farmer, how did you feel? I hope you enjoyed Pondering Pandas. For more lessons on human-environment interactions, go to populationeducation.org.